Today we're going to catch up with Alex Blaise, and I'm so appreciative that Alex reached out and was willing to share about his professional path. And so, Alex, I'd love to just start with you sharing a little bit about your high school experience, what you were involved in, when you graduated, things like that.
So I graduated in 2017. I think it's kind of been a few years now. So, while I was at high school, I was on the football team and wrestled, and I actually did a year of cross country. Believe it or not, I was a little skinnier then. I don't do a whole lot of running now, but no, I had an awesome time at Marion and met a lot of cool people and a lot of lifetime friends, not just friends while I was at school. So
That's important. Not everybody takes that away from high school, but that's awesome when you
yeah,
do. That's really good.
yeah.
So, if you wouldn't mind, share with my students a little bit about your career path from graduation to where you are today.
Okay, so at graduation, right after high school, I guess I started at John A. I graduated like a semester early, so I was done in the winter. So I
Hmm.
went ahead and started at John A. while everyone else was still in high school, which was great to kind of get a jump start on some classes there, so I didn't have to take as much.
Hmm.
Um, so I did that and was working at Rule King at the time, and then I worked at Rule King for probably a year and a half, somewhere around that. And then I quit Rule King, or while I was at Rule King, I actually started a mowing business and started mowing yards and doing some landscaping work and that kind of thing. And then I started doing construction and building houses for a little bit and continued my mowing business through that and just kept building it up, my business up really. And then after that, I went up and talked to Diane Hughes and got a job working at Mitchell Hughes Funeral Home.
Hmm.
And so I started working there on just on weekends and doing construction and stuff through the week. And then after I worked there a little bit, she offered me more hours to where I could work there full time, just quit construction. So I quit construction and been working there ever since and sold my mowing business. So I don't have to mess with that
Wow.
anymore and just focus on working at the funeral home and going to school really. And so I'm
And
going to
so
school.
the degree you're working on is mortuary science, right? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah?
mortuary science and funeral service is what it's called.
Gotcha.
So I'll be a licensed embalmer and funeral director, so I can do all that fun stuff. But yeah, I really, really love it. I actually was originally going to be a dentist and thought about going to dental school, and realized I did not want to be in somebody's mouth all day and go to school for that long. So I ended up deciding on the funeral business, and I'm glad that I did.
And I feel like it's a very unique calling. I feel like it is a calling if
Yeah,
you're willing to
yeah.
do that kind of, because you really are dealing with people in a very difficult time in their lives. And there's more to it. It is a business, but yet
Yeah.
it's so personal in nature.
Yeah, that's what's kind of very unique about it is because it's almost one of those things that it's so personal you would almost want it to be just like a charity and you just let me help you out during this time kind of thing. But you can't do that. It is a business and
Mhm.
you have to make money to keep the lights on and pay bills and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But uh it is one of the most rewarding jobs I feel like that there is, because if you can do it, being able to help families and things like that through one of their lowest points, because there's never anybody that comes in that's just happy to be there and happy to see you.
Exactly.
Everybody's at one of their lowest points in life, and so being able to help them through that difficult time is really rewarding. And it is a very unique job because it's not just 9 to 5, it's holidays, weekends, all hours of the night, that kind of thing. So it is a very demanding job, but it's very rewarding as well, being able to help people like that.
Yeah. So with with your training at SIU, do they? I know they obviously teach you the science components, and the technical skills, but do they give you training on like running a business or on like the psychology that's involved with working with people through the grief setting and things like that?
Yeah. Actually, one of the classes I have this semester is funeral service psychology, where they talk about the stages of grief and uh, how different people react to things differently and how to kind of handle that and that sort of thing. But we're not a licensed psychiatrist either, so we can't sit there and give counseling, because
Mhm.
that can end up turning into a lawsuit. So you
Yeah.
can be there for them, but you can't counsel them. So it's a kind of a fine line when it comes to that. But no, there is some business classes and things like that, business law and that sort of thing that you have to take
Mhm.
that kind of prepare you to be out in the business world, I suppose.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a lot to think about, because most people just think about, going to a funeral home, and no one, like you said, really enjoys going to a visitation or something like that.
Yeah,
But they don't think about all the behind the scenes stuff that has to happen in order, and
yeah.
you're coordinating a lot of people too, right? I mean, because you've got people bringing flowers in, you've got family members, and sometimes that can be contentious even, um, with family members.
Yeah, you kind of, it's almost inevitable. Almost every family, they have some sort of something going on between we don't talk to the side and that kind of thing. So you have to kind of cater to that stuff a little bit. But then you're worried about getting stuff ready at the cemetery and talking to them and the flowers and making sure everything's set up right. And while you're still trying to get them presentable and everything set up in the chapel and that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
filing death certificates, and we help with the insurance policies and things like that. So there's a lot that behind the scenes people don't really realize goes into
Yeah.
that. And there's sometimes that you might have 4, 5, 6, calls in the span of a short time. So you're trying to manage all that stuff and keep it separate and that sort of thing. So it can be difficult at times to
Ab-
keep up.
I'm sure. So, what skills do you think are important for someone who is um, interested in this career?
Um, I would say just being personable and being able to talk to people. I feel like that's almost across the board with any career that you go into. But I feel like having good people skills and being able to talk to people is very important, and especially in this, because you're going to have to really get to know people, and that's when you meet with families and that sort of thing. Really getting to know the family and know their loved one that passed away is so important. And so I think being able to talk to people is probably one of the most important skills to have. And, being able, I guess, really to kind of, I mean, it's a lifestyle. It's not just a career, really, because it is all hours, all days, that kind of thing. So, uh, being able to make that sacrifice, I guess, because you never know. It is a big commitment. But I'm lucky with where I work. We have enough staff that I can have, some days off and that sort of thing. And everybody, works together pretty well as a team. So it is great. But if you get into a smaller firm or that sort of thing, you don't always get that. So it can be difficult at times.
Yeah, and I feel like in this industry, it is a lot about reputation, because it's not like you're going out drumming up business. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
um,
all about who you know and that sort of thing, and being uh, public relations is huge, I should say. Being well known and well liked throughout the community is big. So
absolutely. So, what advice would you have for students who might be juniors or seniors right now? Or if you were to think back, when Alex Blaise was a junior or senior, in Miss Hudgens' class, what in the tiny room? That was when we were in the little room down the hall.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what advice would you think is important for them to know?
Um, Enjoy it because once it's over, and the real world is difficult at times, and most of the time it's really hard. So enjoy it while you can, but at the same time, like focus. Don't play games on the computer like I did. I wish I would have learned a little bit more and focus some more in there. But me and Martin, the foreign exchange student, would play games on the computer quite a bit. So,
Yes.
uh,
But you'd always smile and be like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, I made it. And college isn't for everybody, but at the same time, if you want to go to college, you can do it. Start focusing on that stuff now and getting your ducks in a row, sort of thing. I look at it as if me, of all people, can make it this far in college, and I'll be graduating next year
so
from
excited.
SIU with a bachelor's degree. It's like if I can do it, anybody can, because
Well,
I
and
was
I
never
will,
the best student by any means.
but to your credit, you have worked a lot of hours. You've taken a lot of
Yeah,
classes. Um, and I think also it's important, not everybody has a support system, but it's important to find a support system, to help
yes.
you
Definitely.
progress.
I would not be where I'm at if it wasn't for all the people that have pushed me and helped me along the way to get me here. I mean, I've truly been blessed with tons of people to help me out. And yeah, it is tough at times. I mean, you're gonna lose sleep, and there's gonna be times that you're gonna cry about things and that sort of thing. I'll be the first to admit that I've had breakdowns and stuff over school because I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. But
Wow.
in the end, it'll be worth it. So
Absolutely. I want to say I truly admire your tenacity, and I'm just proud to watch you progress and see you move along. And that's what all teachers live for, is to see their students out living their best lives. And so yeah, I'm proud of you, and thank you for taking time to catch up with us
mhm.
today.
Yeah,
And I know
definitely.
my
Thank you. I
students will be
appreciate it.
glad to hear an update on you. So thank you very much, Alex.
Yeah, thank you. I had a good time. So
Yeah.